If you're the linchpin of your family or your workplace or maybe both, weight loss can be particularly challenging. On top of your full-time job, you've got numerous other calls on your time within work and from outside. So you may have virtually no time or energy left for yourself once you've done everything that's needed for everybody who's relying on you, whether that's employees, clients, customers, colleagues at work, and family, dependents, relatives and friends at home. Finding yourself at the centre of things can mean that you end up being spread pretty thin. In this video, I'm going to talk about why it's particularly challenging for people who are in this linchpin position to manage weight loss. Then I'm going to give you a framework for thinking about these many demands on you in terms of you being at the centre of a solar system with all of these people in orbits around you. And then I'll suggest 2 key actions that will help to make a bit more space for yourself so that you can actually make changes to how you eat for your health and well-being. So why might it matter for weight loss that so many other people are relying on you for help and support and maybe upkeep? It's because changing how you eat takes effort and energy and focus. So you have to have something left in the tank to allocate to making those changes. A simple way of thinking about what happens when you're supporting a lot of other people is this analogy of the solar system. I'll just draw this out to illustrate what I'm saying. Okay, here's a way of thinking about what's happening. At the centre of your world is you. You can't be anywhere else. And with yourself at the centre, if you think about the other people in your life, the people closest are like the people in your nearest orbit. So there might be 1 or 2 or even more people in your closest orbit, like a partner, a really close friend, family member or 2. And then in the next orbit, there may be people who are close, but maybe not quite so close. So it might be that you live with these people, but these people in the next orbit, and there might be possibly a few more of them, are people perhaps you see often, but that are slightly more distant in the sense that their lives might overlap a little bit less with yours, but these might still be quite close friends. And then there may be another orbit. So we're building a solar system where this next orbit might be people you see occasionally. They might be people that you do things for from time to time or that you see from time to time. And then outside that orbit is outer space, where you can include people who would just be acquaintances and, of course, people you don't know. So if you think about these layers around you, just like a solar system, notice that the people in this closest orbit are the people who will be relying on you most, and you may well be relying on them too. And then as you go out into successive orbits, the chances are that these people may be important to you, but may not be relying on you quite as much, and so on with successive orbits. I've drawn this solar system idea out with hundreds of people, and what we've done is identify which individuals are in which orbits. And we've considered the fact that the people closest by are the ones who need you the most, who rely on you the most. And what people who become totally overwhelmed with exhaustion tend to have in common is 2 things. One is that they neglect themselves, so they put everybody else first. Their energy gets depleted,
And however low they're getting in energy, they're still putting their focus onto the people who rely on them. But there's another thing that can happen too, which is that for some people, it's hard to discriminate these different levels. And it may be that you end up doing lots of things for people who are relatively far out of your solar system, people on the edge, even acquaintances, so that you're getting depleted by people who aren't that important to you. And what you can see when you look at this immediate orbit is that these people, the closest to you, are the ones who need you the most. So if your energy gets very depleted, it's not good for them. And if your energy is going mainly into more distant people and helping them, that's not good for them either. So when you think about recharging your own batteries, supporting your own energy, it's not a selfish action. It's actually something that hugely supports the well-being of the people who rely on you most. So when it comes to actions that you can take to help to support your own energy, that's partly about discovering what recharges your own battery, and partly to do with maybe reducing the amount that you do for these people at the edge of your solar system.
So let's think about practical actions that you can take. The first is to review how much you're actually doing for people in those very outer orbits, the people who may be only acquaintances, but you might actually have got into a pattern of doing quite a lot for them. If you've got bags of energy and plenty of time, this will be fine. But if you are very thinly spread, this might be where you need to start making some cuts. You could think about reducing or even dropping some of those tasks. You may want to have some pre-prepared responses if there are people that you know actually call on your time a lot and that you find yourself just automatically saying yes to because it seems easier at that moment. The other action is to start recharging your own battery a bit more. Looking after your own energy and what gives you energy means both thinking about basic routines and patterns of rest, sleep, eating, activity, and social connection. And depending on your personality, there might be certain things that recharge your batteries more than others. So it might be that something that really makes you feel more energized is spending time with other people, if you're quite an extrovert. But for other people, it may be that solitude or listening to music or taking part in some sort of physical activity might do much more for you. And remember that these actions are going to help the people closest to you. They're the ones who rely on you most, and they're the ones who need you to have the energy to do what's required. It's not selfish to recharge your own battery or to say no to requests from people who are more distant from you. And in my experience, it's people perceiving self-care as selfish that become the most depleted and run down. And weight loss is particularly hard when you're in that state. You need some energy, you need some focus. So this basic self-care will be welcomed by the people closest to you. And this is going to support your weight loss and your overall health. If you are struggling with weight loss and you recognize yourself in this video, hit the link in the description below to see how I might be able to help you. Please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can watch my next video on weight loss for super busy people.